Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session of What's in Store. And we have a great episode for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about NRF, and I got with me two of my favorite girls, Liz and Cara. First of all, before we get started, do either of you want to just explain what NRF is? And then I can embarrass myself really quick.
Sure, I can take that, Cara, if you don't mind. So NRF is it's the NRF Big Show. You got to make sure to qualify it with Big Show. It's the National Retail Federation, which is the largest association of retailers around the world. Every January, it goes to the Javits Center, which is this giant and gets bigger every day convention center in New York City, and just basically takes over New York City and any kind of retail, small, large, and anybody related to retail is there. So it's really an exciting show every year.
And so I don't think our listeners fully appreciate that we are a fully virtual company. So I've worked with Cara and Liz for almost 2 years now, and I've met them once at NRF last year. So just picture January, New York, freezing. We have a big dinner meet and greet at the Margaritaville Hotel. My boss says, since we're going to be at Margaritaville, we should all wear Hawaiian shirts. So I go find a Hawaiian shirt, which are not easy to find in January. And I finally find one that fits. And I go to this business meeting to go meet all my coworkers for the first time. And sure enough, I'm the only one in the Hawaiian shirt. My boss starts cracking up and says, "Oh my gosh, you believed me?" So shocker, I didn't get invited back to NRF this year.
We missed you.
I missed you guys too. It seemed like a lot of fun, and it seemed like you guys learned a lot. So Liz, why don't you start a little bit about what you guys learned there?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great opportunity to go. We only went one day. It was a 4-day event, and it's a mix of keynote sessions from all these different leaders in the industry, plus a trade show and a lot of practical little sessions as well. So my first takeaway was it was kind of back to normal from before BC, right before COVID. It felt like the biggest show as well as the most well attended, and seems to have a lot of most enthusiasm since the shows before COVID. So I thought that was really encouraging. They had, I think, Cara, was it 3 floors of trade show booths?
Yes.
I mean, that were 2-3 football fields long each. Some of these big giant companies, you've got Microsoft and Google and Oracle and Amazon, but then you've got all these newer companies with smaller presences and a lot of people walking around and talking and really being interested in. I think I haven't seen that. Last year it was pretty good, but not to the level that I think this year was. So I thought I was pretty encouraged by that.
What was one of your favorite things you saw, or some of the cool trends maybe that you could talk about a little bit?
Yeah, Cara, do you want to take that
one?
Yeah,
so I would say one of the big trends we saw is, so last year was actually my first time attending NRF, and a lot of it, we noticed when we were walking through like the show floor last year, a lot of the booths and stuff, everyone was really shouting from the rooftops that they offered AI. That was definitely the buzzword everyone wanted to get out there. This year, when we were walking around, we noticed everyone is doing AI, but no one's really publicizing it because it's not a differentiator anymore. It's really just table stakes. It's not whether you have AI, it's how you're using it. So I sat in on a couple really interesting sessions about how retailers are actually putting it to use in their everyday life. One of them was I heard about a software company that is using software that pings shoppers' cell phone signals. So if you're walking through a store, IKEA is one of the retailers that uses this. If you're walking through an IKEA store, IKEA is able to gather data based on your cell phone location of how you are walking through the store, where you're spending your time, how much time you're spending in the store. And IKEA and other retailers are using that information, not just to collect data and try to invade people's privacy, because there are a lot of privacy safeguards on there, but to make your shopping experience better. They learned, for instance, they thought the average shopper spent 1 to 2 hours in an IKEA store, when really the average shopper is spending under 30. People really just want to get in and out a lot of the time. So they're using that data and those insights to kind of change the pathways that you can walk through and traffic flows that are resulting in a better customer experience and also optimizing their sales. They've seen sales of certain items jump as much as 40% just by changing where they're located in the store. And then one other really just cool thing I saw was a company that makes an actual robot, like something you would see in like a Star Wars movie, real futuristic looking, that can move boxes and take them off of storeroom or stockroom shelves or store shelves, and restock them. And companies are using that to become more efficient and to cut costs, but also to cut down on employee injuries. There are a lot of injuries that can happen among stockroom workers and things like that. So using a robot to do this can be more accurate and also just spare some of those injuries, which I thought was really cool.
I think one of the big things in 2023, like you said, is everybody's talking about AI. It's the biggest buzzword, AI, AI, AI. And I think one of the big concerns has always been, is AI going to take over jobs? And I wanted to know if that was discussed at all at NRF.
Yeah. What was interesting is the conversation was not that it's taking over jobs. It was more about the fact that there's still such a giant job shortage that AI is being used to help the people who are there work better so that they can work as efficiently with the fewer people they have. Because we've all walked into Dunkin' Donuts and there's two people trying to work the drive-through and the counter and stock the shelves and everywhere, and obviously that goes across the retail organization or retail industry. So a lot of the tools were not about taking jobs. It was about, we've got still this immense job shortage, even though the job numbers, the job shortage has lowered. They had some economists there that still said it's still the highest it's ever been. It's just lower than it was, but it's still higher than any time before COVID, I guess we could say. So a lot of the AI programs were to make that associate level and also back office or back of the house more efficient. I saw some technology being used where it was cameras, which were these tiny little cameras, taking photos of inventory shelves, so stocking on different shelves. Therefore, when things moved from where they were supposed to be, that got alerted into the back room. Where are the boxes to maybe replace those? So the associate in the back or the store manager knows this is exactly what you need to go put on this exact shelf. So that frees them up, so they have to walk around and figure it out, or they don't have to find the box and where it is back in the stock room. And it doesn't sound like it's a customer experience, but it is, because then the associate has more time to talk to the customers or connect with customers about what they need, and less time doing the stuff that's not customer facing. I know, Cara, didn't you have something where they had like the headsets where actually the AI was providing?
Yes. Yeah. I sat on a great session. I think it was Tractor Supply Company, where they developed an app where their in-store associates, so they're a retailer that sells mostly outdoor and, family life goods in predominantly rural communities. So a lot of bird seed, dog feed, livestock feed, that kind of stuff. And their associates now wear these wearable devices where if a customer has a question about, say, a certain generator they're selling, like what appliances could I hook up to this generator that it will power, the associate can just ask the app into a headphone for that information using their natural language. They don't have to rely on keywords like some older technology did. And an AI generated response is going to come back to them, letting them know specifications about that certain generator the customer was looking at, as well as recommending alternatives or other suggestions that the employee can give, which one of the executives said not only is a better customer experience, but a better employee experience. They're not constantly having to leave the customer to go to a computer to look that up. And also the people who work at the stores are overall becoming just much more knowledgeable about everything that Tractor Supply sells.
And I think that, what you guys are saying, all of this does derive back to the customer experience. And what we're doing is we're giving them the knowledge to have the empathy, to have the human moments by using AI. And so I think that's one of the big things that everybody needs to understand is it won't replace jobs. It's going to make our jobs better, easier, more fun, more knowledgeable. I know, especially even from the employee side of things, when you go in and you're trying to have a conversation and you have no idea what you're talking about and you're just trying to BS your way through it, you don't feel good. The customer can pick up on that. And, then your reviews show that. And so everything that's kind of happening now seems like we're empowering the employees and really driving that customer experience. Was there anything else that you guys saw that really stood out or you found super interesting that we haven't covered yet?
Yeah, I mean, just to follow on what you were saying, I saw an interview with the head of Ulta Beauty. I think he was Dave Kimball, and it's a beauty tech is a really interesting part of the retail, very growing part of the retail industry. So that was just an interesting conversation. But he really did reinforce that it all starts with a human connection, and as much as you want to make things more efficient or use technology to help something, it really becomes like it's the human connection, ideas, and what are you trying to do to help someone? And then now it's just that the technology is there to help you actually realize the vision, not lead with the technology, but lead with what kind of experience you want to provide, and then let the technology kind of support that. So I thought that was interesting that even at the CEO level, those are the types of conversations that are going on.
Well, it goes back to, if anybody's seen Wolf of Wall Street, the simple question of how do you sell this pen? And a lot of these retail companies, unless you're selling a product your competitor doesn't sell, if you're selling clothes, if you're selling, makeup, you can get this from your competitor. The differentiator really does have to come down to that human experience and making the customers feel good and want to come back. And in a lot of these situations, the customers will spend more to have that human interaction. And now I think it's time for a shameless plug, where I think that's where companies like t.tec come in, where they can really help you navigate the difference between the technology and the empathy and help build that customer experience that your customers are looking for. And I think I'm so jealous you guys got to go to NRF this year, and hopefully next year I'll get to go back with you guys. I know that you have a blog post coming out, and if you guys want to learn more about the trends and what was seen, I'll put the link in the description below. But thank you guys so much for coming today, and I appreciate both of you so much.
Thank you. It was a great conversation.
Thanks, Ericka.
Thank you guys.